report just came out on dark.com, man. It's gonna as well. Welcome to the channel. For evening 28th of May. All right, so you can see that I've already done a voiceover clip. Susan not appreciating nip slips. That's not her thing. Can you guys hear and see me all right? How are we doing on transmission quality? Come on, let's get them yos out there in Happy Land. Let me know if you can see me all right. Upload videos, go live. Yo, yo, yo. I try to select the video. Unusual why it's not picking. Oh, I see what happened there. There it is. Okay, guys. I accidentally uploaded the wrong video, and now I've got I got the right video coming at you. Please, my computer's working a little slow right now, so I'm streaming from the phone. How you guys doing out there in Happy Land today? Did you see that UFO report? It's quite anomalous. So I'm processing the video right now and doing a little commentary and giving a close up and stuff. I need to be quick on this. I need to break this news before Secure Team does, because Secure Team hasn't broken the news yet, and he'll be right behind me, man. That guy is fast when it comes to breaking um, breaking news. Over New Hampshire. Yeah, there was a UFO spotted 28th of May over New Hampshire. You guys didn't see it? Okay, go check my channel right now. Check's complete. No issues found. Next. Publish. Bam, there it goes. Yeah, it looks like it's public. It looks like the video has gone public. Let's check the feed, see if it's looking good on the Frank Monday channel. Where's it at? I don't see it. I don't see it yet. I'm refreshing the screen, guys. Can you hear me all right? Give me a yo if you can hear me. UFOs over New Hampshire. Yeah, there it is, man. So it's up on the channel. No views. Make sure you guys click on it and get it some views. Right there it is. Frank Monday. UFOs over New Hampshire. Anomalous UFO over New Hampshire. All right, so I just click on that. It's another one of them old Frank Monday productions coming at you. It's another one of them. All right, guys. Well, welcome to the channel. We have a very unusual report coming in from New Hampshire from an anonymous source. This video was taken on the evening of the 28th of May. Can you guys see that? Look at that. There it is. Wow. Oh, there it is, man. Look at that. There's another one off to the left. Center of the camera that is sort of hovering and then floating down. And then you'll also be able to observe a secondary light somewhere above it that's floating kind of in and out. And then the one off to the left, that's a little bit concerning to me as well. Looks like it may. All right, so I'm second in line to break the news. I actually I ripped this video off of Dark Journalist because he put a report out, a 2-minute video. And I remember last time I ripped a video and threw it up on the internet, and like within a couple of hours it got like 500 views, something like that. And then YouTube the very next day I jumped up and I'm like, I wonder how that UFO video is doing. YouTube had dropped the view count back down to like 198 views, and then it stuck at 198 for like 2 solid years. They never let it go up again. So like it got circulation because I tagged it. I put in the tags, you know, I put in like UFO tags and stuff. And so it's still up on my channel. I don't know. It probably has a couple of hundred views, but they immediately attacked that video and knocked it into, that's called shadow banning, right? Knocked it into non-reality. Frank Monday UFO. Let's see if I can just search directly here on YouTube. No, nothing comes up. the first. So even though I search Frank Monday UFO, like it won't it won't show it, even though I'm logged in on myself. So the first, let's have a look. So I search Frank Monday UFO. You can see that right there, Frank Monday UFO. And the first thing that comes up is Frank Ocean, Buzz Aldrin UFO, Ancient Aliens, UFO reports. Nothing by Frank Monday yet, even though Frank Monday's in the search title, right? How's that for shadow banning? Nothing, no Frank Monday, no Frank Monday UFO, man. What's up, yo? Yeah, so they're very tightly censoring the UFO topic right now. Um, they consider it to be a hot button item, so they're only allowing certain people to report on these issues. So it doesn't matter, even if you get the good goods, they will not circulate it. But if you do search Frank Monday, then my channel just come up. 306 subs, 1,000 videos, totally original content. It's got me streaming live right now. It's got my video from yesterday, psychic self defense, straight dick with Frank Monday, 18 views. That video has lost views, man. That used to be up around 100 views too. The Monday show with guest interview, that was with Anthony. Frank Monday Steppin', MTF, famous hit single, Frank Monday and the Steppers, Stepping On Out, uh, so on and so forth. And then a category of people also watched, as if we want that, right? And then one of my better performing videos, 287 views on that. And then there's another Frank Monday who just started a channel the other day, just a couple of weeks ago. So I don't know what's up with that. I don't know why they allow him to use my name for his channel. And it was just like 2 weeks ago. So what do I need to do about that? And then that's it. Workaday 5-minute update. That was a good one. So there you see it. There you have it, man. The struggle is real. You can see that the struggle is real. You guys want to make a coffee with me? I need to make a coffee. How about you guys join me for making a coffee? I'll show you guys how it works. We'll have a cigarette and a coffee and chat about it. Let me check the chat room to make sure you guys are doing all right out there in Happy Land. Good looking, sexy people. I hope you can hear me all right. I'm not supposed to be streaming today because today's a work day. But Jeff was out there. Jeff was out there asking about me, and so I decided to go live real quick just to say hi to Jeff and all y'all good looking, sexy people out there in Happy Land. So Jeff, I can't stream live, man, during the week when I'm doing my online classes, but luckily I have a short break right now, and I'm getting to it. Let me see what you guys are saying. Yeah, Susan don't like me, Jeff. They can blast at lightning speed, zigzag, instantaneous stops, dart around wildly, flashing, pulsing like flash cubes in the sky, all silent. Um, I don't know, man. I wasn't there in New Hampshire. Typically, I can distinguish between the grays and the reptos. Yeah, she might have those spherical craft or gray craft. Okay, so the spherical ones are for the grays. I didn't know that. Water appears to dome up beneath them. They appear to drain power over power lines. Yeah, the interesting thing is, I was out yesterday with my kids, just kind of chilling here in the neighborhood, and like cruising around, getting them to do some exercises and stuff. And the sky was beautiful, and there was a bit of a storm, but there were clouds floating in and out and taking the shape of dragons. They're floating across the sky. And I shot some footage of it here. I'll throw it up on the booby tube here in a minute if I don't get banned for having a nip slip. But what happened? I was I was I was aware that there were craft in the sky yesterday during full day, and they were cloaking themselves. You guys know that they can cloak themselves. And so they appeared with clouds around them, like in the shape of dragons and stuff and phoenixes. But you could see the distortion in the sky, indicative of something else there. Like I think we're becoming more familiar with a lot of their high level cloaking technology appears like to wrap light around the craft, like mirror like surface, I guess mercurial type bubble or sphere of energy that will reflect and show you everything around and behind it. But then you can see the distortion of the craft itself. And from what I understand, if you're directly underneath it, looking straight up, then you'll be able to see the distortion best. And there'll be uh, a small window of observation. So during the day, that's typically how they cloak themselves behind, like the analogy, I guess, is like on a hot summer day, how the oasis style mirage heat rises in the horizon, that type of shimmering, like looking at something through water. So that's what it looked like yesterday. And I kept telling my kids, I said, keep your eyes on the skies and see if you see any craft. And at a couple of different points, I thought I did. Here's something I'd like to share with you guys about apotheum and paranormal experiences. I learned this from DJ Banis. Is that his name? The guy who does Radio Mysterioso. Are you guys familiar with Radio Mysterioso? Yeah, so one of the best podcast radio programs that I've ever heard in my entire life was Radio Mysterioso. And during the summer of 2019, I went back to the US and I was looking for work to try to move my family home to the US. And I was in California and I was driving all around Southern California um, as an Uber Lyft driver. I was driving the Uber Lyft platform and I had a little SUV and I was refining my CV for the American market. And I was also studying to do to work as a real estate agent. And during that experience, I was there back there for about 6 months doing that. And at night, I like to drive the night shift, so I would typically like head out like around rush hour and get myself a couple of rush hour traffic rides, like guys going to the airport or whatever. So I was in Southern California and I would drive them from like the Orange County area to downtown LA. And then that would put me in the LA area, like downtown in the city, to get the numbers of rides, you know. So I would drive downtown LA um, for a couple of hours, a few hours or whatever in that bump and grind traffic uh, until someone like till I got a ride where someone was like leaving the city, you know, getting off work and trying to head out to the burbs. And a lot of times the pattern would go, I would start in Southern California, Orange County, and I would make my way into LA County. And then I would get a ride taking me way up north of LA County, like into the Los Angeles forest, which is pretty spooky. LA Forest has got some spooky stories, right? The Hollywood Hills and stuff. And then going north of that, like up into Van Nuys and like Fast Times at Ridgemont High, you know. So there's a lot of UBs. UBs live up there. And as a result, because of so many UBs, you know, doing their Torah studies and stuff, um, there is paranormal activity. But I would listen to a program by I think his name was DJ Nah, what was his name? I can't remember now. I'll have to look it up. But he did a podcast called Radio Mysterioso, and it was really really good paranormal UFO content. And I think that like his radio show and the explanations of the people he would have on there about what's really going on with the UFO observer reality and experience, like the fact that everything we see is filtered through the brain, right? And then you ingrain yourself in the idea of like Socrates and the preforms, and that nothing we see in the waking reality around us is actually what's going on. That there are tons of behind the scenes, unseen elements that the ordinary average individual is not privy to. So the veil and what was the point I want to make? Oh, the point I want to make is you should listen to that radio show. Let me look it up real quick as I prepare my pour over. Now let's have a look. So let me check the chat. Make sure you guys are keeping up. Don't risk it if they'll endanger you. It might be. Thanks for inviting me in the chat. Wow, yeah. My uncle worked for Raytheon. He developed the missile program for the Patriot missile and a couple of other missiles. He was a military guy in the army during the Korean conflict. So he was a little younger. I think he was about 15 years younger than my dad, and he was from my mom's side of the family. But he had a Men in Black encounter. He worked for Raytheon for like 30 years and was on missile programs. And he brought a disc home one time, a clockwork UFO disc when we were little kids, one that he had built himself and demonstrated it. He lived there in Van Nuys, and he got in trouble for that. He also got involved with a gal that was probably doing espionage, and he had a visit from the Men in Black one night, actually a couple of different times, but he told me about it. He told me that the Men in Black, he was sleeping, and they just appeared in his room. And later on, when they visited me, because I had my dad, my uncle, and some other folks in the family were in pretty high level secret programs and stuff. And so they wanted to draft me in to the space program, but my dad wouldn't allow it. He said, I'll never let you join the military. I'll never let you join government programs, and you'll never work as an actor in Hollywood. He said, those are three things that are filled with drugs, anal sex, pedophilia, homosexuality, and all kinds of things that will just destroy your soul. He said, keep your soul pure. So my dad is, World War II Navy intelligence. He was right under Nimitz, Admiral Nimitz. I got pictures. I probably showed them to you guys already. But yeah, so he was deep in the know, the MK Ultra program and stuff. But they tried to draft me in, and I've had a visit from the MIBs a few times. And here's what I think is part of it. I think when the MIB appears, they appear to certain people as Men in Black, but in reality, they're small grays. And so I've had such a long-term relationship with them over the years that I've started to call them the Three Amigos because they always appear to me in threes. There'll always be three small grays, and I understand the nature of the ships they use, the small ones, like I guess the scout ships, and there's always three of them, and they have a very unique uniform and stuff. I don't talk about it a lot because it's kind of secret mystery teaching. Um, you got to do your own homework in order to be able to experience it, and it's not something that's meant to be of public distribution, I believe. So let me see. Radio Mystery Oso. Oso. It's funny, the podcast, yeah. Oh, okay. Let's see, there it is. Um, let me check on my coffee, guys. Oh, so I'll teach you guys how to make a Frank Monday pour over if you're interested in that. I don't know. You might not even be interested in it. Oh, it's not gonna work. My cord isn't long enough. Okay, so what you do is you put the filter in, and then you clean it with oh god, this is just miasmic, huh? So then you clean it with boiling water. That way it heats up your cup, and you get a nice clean filter, so it doesn't taste like paper. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And then you dump that out, get that ready like that. Then you got to have like almost an espresso grind of Colombian Supremo coffee. You can get it from your local German importer out of Shanghai. If Shanghai's not on lockdown the way it is, Oh, maybe that's why the German importer couldn't get me coffee anymore because Shanghai shut down. Because I remember that those bags of coffee I used to buy from the German grocery store, they said Shanghai on them. So they were Shanghai imports. So that's what's up with that. All right, then you get yourself a nice couple of scoops, maybe. Wow, how much is that caffeine per cup? Per what? Per cup? I don't know, whatever that was. What was that, about 2 tablespoons? Is that what that looked like? Yeah, I've been close enough to Neo to see inside the craft, and I know what's up, man. You have to. So apotheum means that you have to experience a time dilation and a shift in the veil. So this type of thing is actually around us all the time. They're among us and secretly watching us all the time. And like Nunu, I'm sure knows and has experienced, is that you have to experience a shift in the veil and then time will slow down. Wow, Frank, I can't drink more than 200 milligrams of caffeine per day or I get heart palpitations. Yeah, so time shifts. And DJ on Dark Journalist, he calls that apotheum. So how much caffeine is that, Jeff? I don't even know. I could drink 10 or 15 cups at that strength right there. Well, that's about 2 tablespoons of ground beans, right? So I could drink 10 or 15 of those and it wouldn't even affect me. Um, I guess I'm kind of like Voltaire. You guys know that um, Voltaire could drink 70 cups a day of espresso and he lived to 86. So I'm not too worried about it. A lot of people say, yeah, if you drink too much, it can have a negative effect on your health, and I don't necessarily doubt that. Depends on the roast. Some tablespoons from can vary from 80 milligrams to 200 milligrams. I guess I should probably kind of figure it out. I need to be more of an alchemist on my coffee consumption. Now you're starting to make me paranoid, Jeff. That's all right. My doctor said that I asked him about coffee, and yeah, it puts me to sleep at night. I had a cup right before I went to bed last night. So I asked my doctor how much was appropriate, and he said 4 or 5 cups is no problem. He said you don't really want to drink more than that. Okay. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that. So I guess it varies from person to person, the mileage you'll get. But us old people need to make sure we stay under 200 milligrams of caffeine. You'll get there soon. Coffee amine mix, not all people can handle it. All right. I'll keep that in mind, Jeff. If I have any adverse reactions from coffee, or if I have any adverse reactions in my life, I'll figure out whether or not it's the coffee that's to blame. So you guys let me know what you think that is right there. How much how much caffeine do you think I'm taking in right there? Is that about 500 milligrams of caffeine per cup? Is that what I'm sporting? Because if so, maybe yeah, maybe I'll. It's funny. The other day, not the other day, but a couple of years ago, before I could find good coffee, I just kind of quit for a while. And I ended up quitting for about 6 months, and it didn't even really bother me. And then, then I remembered where I was getting that coffee from the Shanghai dealer, and so I went back and started buying coffee again. I think I told you guys that part of the reason was because I felt guilty to even buy myself coffee. And that's why I started the Buy Me a Coffee Fund so that I wouldn't feel like I was taking money away from the family. Yeah, so that's part of it. Let's have a look outside, guys. That's the courtyard down below my house. older we get, the more sensitive to coffee and caffeine. I think decaf and sometimes a little regular roast. I remember my dad too. He switched over to the decaf when he hit about 55. Gave up sugar and caffeine. That would be a morning snack for me. I never use sugar. Sugar's poison for me. I don't use sugar either. Wow, I wish I could give up sugar, David. I love cookies and chocolate too much. Okay, yeah, I never add sugar or cream to my coffee. That's what I was thinking about. Um, but I do eat sugary food sometimes. But yeah, I've heard that sugar is pretty toxic. So I kind of screwed up on that coffee. I think I put too much scoops of powder, and then the other thing I screwed up was I poured too much water on it. That's okay. We'll water it down a little bit. So you'll notice I'm going to cut it. You see what I'm doing here? I'm going to cut it with a little water. Make it more of an Americano that way. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm all over the place with this camera today, man. Guys, let me set myself up here so I can concentrate without rattling this thing back and forth. It must be nerve wracking. I apologize for that. I got it on this little tripod, and whew, man, I look like something the fucking cat puked up, huh? That's okay. I'll tell you why I look that way. Let me explain it to you. Because I was sleeping in, and I had one class. I already did it. I just put on a hat and a shirt. You know what I'm saying? And I was actually going to go back to bed, and then I saw Jeff tuning in out there in Happy Land, and I thought I could go live for 5, do a little live jive, do a little live 5 jive. And yesterday, me and the kids were kind of out all day, like cruising around the hood, checking things out. Everything's still in lockdown. Like they've officially opened back up, but we went to the shopping mall, and like they now have like your health certificate on your phone that you have to keep up to date, and you're supposed to be vaxxed and stuff like that. It used to be that they would just try to scan it once when you go into an establishment, like a shopping mall, for example. And you know how a shopping mall, like it has um, the big building with all the small stores, right? But now they try to get you to tag it at every single store. And so basically, like what they're doing is they're tagging and tracing everyone throughout the city, everywhere you go. And so, like, what if you don't have a cell phone? I mean, that type of imposition on the people by the government, they if they want you to do that, if they want you to live like that, then they should have to buy your cell phone. They should have to provide you with a cell phone. Then, in addition to that, they should have to pay you a certain stipend for the amount of electricity you have to use in order to keep your cell phone on you. And then, in addition to that, everyone should get free Wi-Fi and free internet access because they're mandating that we carry cell phones fully charged all the time, everywhere we go. How the fuck is that any kind of logic? Where's the reason in that? You know, where's the fucking justice in that type of treatment? So it really pissed me off. So I just forged the certificate and throw a little picture on there because I don't want to be tracked every single place I go, and I'm not going to scan their little thing. And I turn off the locations on my phone, and then I just I act like I'm doing it, and then I flip my phone around real quick and then just walk through. And if they try to stop me or whatever, I just keep walking. And so I went in a grocery store and I did that, and the old lady, she started yelling. She's like, he didn't scan his thing. He didn't scan his thing. And I just kept walking. I walked even faster. And I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like, I wonder if she'll chase me. I wonder if she'll get the security guards to come grab me or something. Because supposedly that if you're not doing it, if you're not abiding by every single little fucking mandate that they've set forward, then like they're trying to say that people are guilty of criminal behavior if you're trying to avoid or not fucking participate. But um I'm not a I don't consider myself among the ordinary human population, and I would do that anywhere I went. And so 9 out of 10 times they won't even bother you. They won't even look at it, because it's just the fuck. They don't want to participate in this bullshit either. Yeah, it's interesting, Dudu, that they had just rolled out all this 5G just prior to all this track and trace, right? So like, oh yeah, they're not connected. It's just a coincidence. We just happened to put up a 5G tower every 100 feet, right? And it's got nothing to do with the fact that we want to track and trace you everywhere you go. Yeah, I need to get a haircut. I'm planning on getting a haircut tomorrow. I think you got to register like a week in advance now just to go to the barbers, and you got to they got to swab you and make sure you don't have the coof. They could use ankle bracelets. That's right. Oh, I budgeted 3 cell phones in my grant application. Had to spend $1 million a year. Wow, that's amazing. Does it cost $1 million a year to operate 3 cell phones? Yeah, I've heard that, Jeff. I heard that you could face jail time. But I go by Thomas Jefferson's principle that if a rule is unjust, man is not only right to break it, he's obligated to do so. So no matter come hell or high water, I have to abide by the principles of the founding fathers of the U.S. Constitution. Because I was born as a free American citizen under the U.S. Constitution, and I learned at an early age that I have inalienable rights, which means I have to defend those inalienable rights against government and lawmakers. So I have to continuously engage in civil disobedience on some level. You know, they want everyone to get the new monkeypox vax. Biden spent millions on a new batch of vax, more mandates coming. Yeah. As long as you keep bending over, they're going to keep sticking it in. So that's the way it works. No, not class. Do you need anything? I'm here for you if you need me. Uh, right now? No, not yet, honey. She's a hungry baby, huh? For what? It's spoiled. I just boiled it. She wants a tea. I gotta fight my little daughter back 90% of the time to keep her from becoming a fatty, man. She loves to eat. Fucking every 5 goddamn minutes, she's like, "You want to make me a bowl of noodles? You want to make me a burger? Can I have a sandwich? How about a bag of chips?" U.S. Constitution rules forever. Hope our feed doesn't get cut for saying that. Yeah, no, I hear you. The U.S. Constitution is the only way to go. We got to fight tooth and nail to defend it. And we have to, all these people took oaths. And when they violate that oath through spurious lawmaking, then they're criminally culpable and they need to be held accountable. The U.S. people have stood by too long without um, honey. I'm here in the kitchen having a smoke that you shouldn't be in here causing trouble. You should care. So the only place I'm allowed to have a smoke is right under the exhaust fan on the oven. I shouldn't even do that here. Usually I go outside, but these guys are supposed to be doing their online classes 90% of the time, and we don't give a fuck when it comes to online classes. Here, I'll do it. Don't be a turd burger. Where'd you get this tea? Is it the one I bought? Okay, there you go. Are we back? Looks like we lost connection, guys. Yeah, it's the hormones are raging. Hi ho. Russ Ladd's in the house. Welcome, sir. Good to see you. They have looted the treasury, destroyed the dollar, and trampled on economic freedom. Yeah, absolutely. They're give me a yo if you can still hear me. They are criminals in government, and I've been an upright individual. I have my vices. I have my tobacco, my caffeine, uh, the occasional fermented grape juice. But I've been an upright individual my entire life. But I've been an upright individual my entire life, a working class man, and I've never done anything to violate the class man, and I've never done anything to violate the Commonwealth or the public trust. And I see these people like Beijing moral authority, which, in my humble opinion, gives them zero legal authority as well. If you can't be a Spartan and a Stoic and a philosopher king, then you have no right. You have no business putting yourself on television, wearing a suit and tie, and acting like you're working for us, because you're not. You're working for the corporate oligarchs, and as a result, that creates a fissure between your working class man and your global elite criminal. And I don't have to abide by any mandates. There is no mandate under heaven. The only mandate given is by God. I don't have to abide by any of that. I don't have to abide by anything that they put into society. We don't have to take their app. We don't have to fucking download their apps. We don't have to do any of that. We can resist. We can disobey. And if push ultimately comes to shove, then you just fight to the death. I mean, because you're in the moral right. You have the high ground. You have the Godhead communing with you. You don't rape children. You don't engage in fleecing the treasury and creating a privately owned Rothschild controlled banking system and illegally creating fiat currency. These guys, just because they empower themselves through criminal activities, doesn't mean we need to listen to them. According to Thomas Jefferson, the only true government among man is self government. Yeah, I have a mandate by God to be free. That's the highest aspiration of the human spirit is freedom. Anything that goes against that, that doesn't mean that they have any legal authority to do that. You can write anything you want in a book. That doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it that doesn't make it anything. When you go against the natural law and sometimes truly progressive means looking back and reevaluating what has gone before. And when a tradition or something is time tested and proven to be a righteous way to operate, then it doesn't mean progress to move away from that. It means progress to revisit that and reinforce that. And so these guys are living outside the confines of constitutional um, operation, which means that they're criminally negligent. And it doesn't need to be made. It doesn't need to be made better. It was pretty much perfected in its original form. Um, by the way, I'm the only one that laughs inside when someone says working in restaurants is just a blue collar, as I don't know brick masonry. I've worked in restaurants before. 15, 15 years of restaurant service. Um, Back of the house, front of the house, I've done it all. I know my way around a restaurant. And if you work in the right restaurants, you get free food all the time. I mean, that's a college student's dream. I learned that early on, high school, that the restaurant was the way to go. Not only you don't have to worry about like, either one or two meals per day, you also are feeding other people, which makes them happy, and then you can earn tips and shit, and you can learn to cook and clean. I thought it was a good way to go for a teenager, and then in my early 20s through mid 20s, helps pay for the gas for school. So Jeff says that he's pouring himself a tall glass of Maker's Mark, and it's almost midnight. All right, well, good night to you then, Jeff. If you're headed off to Dreamland, make sure that you say a little incantation before you go to sleep, so that you will be in the realms of the beyond. I think it's pretty good. I think it's a good way to stay active. You're running around table to table, back of the house, front of the house. I'll tell you the worst restaurant experience I ever had. It was in I don't want to reveal too much about my background, but it was at a five-star restaurant called the Emerald Coast, and the manager was actually from La Jolla, California, and it was in Alabama. I was there going to university, and I jumped around from university a little bit early on in my career, San Diego, Tennessee, UT, and the manager was from La Jolla, California, and he seemed like he was a good guy, but it turns out he was kind of an asshole, and he ended up, I guess he would throw parties and like try to have sex with all the hostesses and shit, and like, take tons of French wine from the restaurants and stuff, and he embezzled and he did all this other shit. But he ended up becoming the manager of a Ruby Tuesdays. I don't know if you guys know Ruby Tuesdays, but he invited me over there from the five-star restaurant, which was, tuxedo shirt, bow tie, five-star dining, all the rotation of, um, soup, salad, or soup. It was usually soup, drinks, dessert. Like what is that called? A five course meal, six-course meal, seven-course meal, that kind of thing. Real fresh people. I'd never worked in that type of environment before. I'm more of like a short order chef, hanging out at the truck stop type of guy. But I thought, it's a challenge. I can refine myself a little bit, get myself into a tuxedo shirt and work in have a crumb scraper, that kind of thing, um, uh, napkin over the arm and serving French wine. I thought this would be fun to learn. But those guys were the sickest, most decadent and degenerate people I'd ever met. And their attitudes are so piss poor, man. And I thought, wow, money really seems to ruin most people. I'd say 90% of the people that have money like that were just sick through and through. Anyway, it's good to get a good look at them. But he came out one time and he gave a pep talk at Ruby Tuesdays, and he said to all the new servers, it was all young folks. I was already like 22 maybe, so I already had 10 years of restaurant service and retail service under my belt. I'm a working man's man, and I'd worked at Arby's and McDonald's and 7-Elevens. I worked every job in sight, because I was always looking for the new ticket to finance, like mortgage payments and cars. And, my dad was a businessman, so I was savvy, I knew how to take $100 and turn it into 1,000 overnight, well, not overnight, but within a couple of days. And I never wasted, you know, um, I knew that the more money you use, the more money you could have to use. So I was big into the universal principles of, using the money, putting it to work and seeing it work and then making more. But anyway, let me get down to the point. Fucking story, man. Brass tacks here. That motherfucker from La Jolla, with raised with a silver spoon in his mouth. I thought there might be some connection to us because we were both California boys in the countryside, but he was just raised, with a gold spoon in his mouth, and he turned into be such a piece of shit. He gave us a pep talk one time, all the new servers, and he said, really, the way you guys need to consider yourselves is that you are prostitutes working for, I'm the pimp and you guys are the prostitutes, and really prostitute yourself out to each table, you know, go above and beyond. And you want to make your tips, right? So you really need to consider yourself like the mentality of a prostitute. And I had a bit of a problem with that, and I stood up and I was like, he's like, yeah, what's up? And I stood up and I said, that's the